Hey everybody, Gina Mizell here alongside Moran. It is Monday and we are at Oregon State practice. A short week to prepare for Stanford on Friday night at Reser Stadium, so things kind of moved up a week. So we talked to defensive players and coaches, and we also talked to Gary Anderson. And obviously coming off of that performance against San Jose State, a 35-21 win, the defense played very, very well in the second half, but obviously you're going to match up against a very physical Stanford offense that put up 41 points against USC on Saturday. You're writing about the defensive line and that rotation. Just what did you learn from Anderson, from Coach Chad Kawaha'a, from Kalani Sitake? How is that group shaping up?
Yeah, I think the notable thing this week from that line was the switching it up between 3-man and 4-man fronts. Even in the middle of a drive, Coach Chad basically said, that was similar to a lot of what he did at Wisconsin. Gary Anderson said he did a lot of that at Utah State. So there's a lot of precedent for the coaching staff for kind of alternating, and it basically said, look for more of that against Stanford. Stanford obviously runs an intense power game and was able to keep the ball on the field for almost 40 minutes against USC. So I think they're going to have to kind of keep switching in between, and part of that is depth too. Gary Anderson did say hopefully Jalen Grimble is somebody who will be back this week, but kind of out of necessity, they're playing a lot of guys on that line. Look for that to continue. And you talked to the newest member of the linebacking core, Ricky Ortiz, who made a pretty big impact against San Jose State himself.
Yeah, obviously had a pick against San Jose State, and really in just a couple days worth of practice, saw action on the field. I sort of talked to him about the transition, and he basically said the linebacker was his best spot in high school, and he wasn't obviously seeing a lot of action on the offensive side of the ball in Oregon State's new offense. So after the Michigan game, Gary Anderson basically sent him a text and said, hey, how do you feel about moving to linebacker? And he comes in, he plays early on in the game, and then obviously makes the late pick. So that's a position group, again, that Oregon State's still trying to find some depth to sort of go along with what you were talking about with the defensive line. Joshua James has obviously moved back to defensive end. Manasseh Hungalu is now at that stud hybrid linebacker spot and had a really good game, 11 tackles against San Jose State. So this defense is continuing to evolve, especially in the front seven. And I mean, in facing a Stanford offense that, number one, is a big power team, like you said, but also has one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the country in Kevin Hogan, and a guy who has a great record as a starter and obviously played very well against USC. This is going to be their biggest challenge, I think, to date.
Yeah, I think you saw a lot of positives with the Oregon State defense again. 2 of the first 3 weeks, particularly on third down against San Jose State and Weber State, and particularly rebounding off a Michigan performance. But to a lot of people, it's not really going to mean anything until they do it against a team like a Stanford or a Michigan. It's nice that they're doing it against a Mountain West or a Big Sky opponent, but this will be the big test to see, okay, Michigan was now 2 weeks ago. That obviously didn't go well, 35 points. Kind of what can change in that 2-week period for that defense.
Yeah, we of course will be monitoring all of that this week, and of course offense is available tomorrow, so we'll be able to talk to Seth Collins, Storm Bars Woods, and all those coaches. So stick with us on OregonLive.com and in the Oregonian until then, and we will catch you back here on Tuesday.